Hey everyone. Let's do a chapter 5A review. Everything you're going to see in this review has to do with either fractions, decimals, or percents. So we're going to remember if we're going for percent to decimal or decimal to percent, we're going to scoop. We're going from a fraction down. We're going to try and biglify it. I like how they have it underlined in red because they say, hey, that's not a word, but you guys know better. Biglify is a word, and we're going to remind ourselves what it is today in this review. So the first question we have is, what percent is represented by the shaded area? Well, we know that this is 10 by 10, so that's out of 100. And then each of these is a group of 10. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46. We know it's 46 out of 100, which we know fraction and a percent are the exact, a fraction out of 100 and a percent, they're the exact same thing, aren't they? So this is 46%. Now every day, Santa's elves can eat 75 sugar cookies, 15 candy canes, and 10 gingerbread men. Write a percent to represent the portion of candy canes that elves eat. So we are looking for a percent, aren't we? Okay, and we want the percent of the candy cane. So we want the part that's the candy canes. And we see here that there are 15 candy canes that are eaten every day by the elves. What we don't know is the whole amount of food that's eaten, correct? And that's what we got to figure out. We can figure it out. We've got 75 sugar cookies, 15 candy canes, and 10 gingerbread men. We add all that up. It is, oh, awesome. It's 100. So 100 out of 15 out of 100 is the same thing as 15%. So we're going to say 15% is the portion that candy canes eat every day. Sounds a little tricky, so let's maybe do another example like that. See if you can do this one on your own now. Every day over the break, Mrs. Madsen slept for 12 hours. Oh, it's gorgeous. Ate cookies and other food for 3 hours. Oh, that was gorgeous as well. And planned lessons for 5 hours every day. Write a percent to represent the portion of time Mrs. Madsen spent planning lessons. So what was the part that I spent planning lessons? This says 5 hours every day. Well, what was the whole amount that I spent? We've got 12 hours sleeping, 3 hours eating, 5 hours planning lessons. That leaves me with 12, 13, 14, 15, 20. So I have 30 here, 15 out of 30. Is that what you got? 12 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours. Yeah, okay. So did I add that correctly? 8 and 2. Oh, that should just be 1, huh? There we go. I'm glad I double checked my work there. Almost made a computational mistake. So we got 5 hours out of the 20 hours I was doing stuff is the amount that I spent planning lessons. And if I want that as a percent, well, what am I going to do? I'm going to biglify it. Technically, I could fraction hating troll it, right? But if the option is there to biglify, it means it's going to be a lot less work. So 25 out of 100, 25% of my day, I was planning lessons. How would you shade this model to show 71%? Well, we know 71% is the same thing as 71 over 100. And we know that this is 10 by 10, so there's already 100 here. So let's just shade in 71 out of the 100, huh? So there's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 71. 71% is shaded in. This is going to be a fun test, isn't it? Woo! All right. Alex says there's a whole bunch of questions on the test where you have to decide if someone is correct or not, and this is the start of it. Alex says 18% is the same as 9/50ths. So the issue we have here is we have one person in one corner and another person in another corner, and they're saying they're the same thing. What we need to do is we need to get them all either into the percent corner or the decimal corner or the fraction corner because then we can truly see, are they the same? Okay, so I am going to, what are you doing? You are scaring me. My husband's mocking me, and all I see was his shadow. It was scary.
What's up?
Okay, are you done making fun of me? I did, but it was right when I started recording, so I haven't looked at it yet. Okay, so 18% is 1800ths as a decimal, right? If I wanted to, which I do, I could change that to a fraction. I would need to make sure that I simplified it though, huh? Both of those are even. Look, they are 9/50ths, 9/50ths. Cool. If I wanted to, I could have taken 9/50ths and biglified it to 100. And that would have also gotten me 18 out of 100, 18%. So he is correct. They are the exact same thing, which I wouldn't have thought. 18% doesn't seem to be equivalent to 9/50ths, huh? They don't look like they have anything in common, but yet they are the exact same amount. All right, about this one. Jair says 17% is the same as 1700ths. Is he correct? Well, we know that 17% is the same thing as 17 over 100, which is exactly what we have here. So yes, he is also correct. That's a more obvious one, right? Some of them are not obvious, some of them are. All right, Berlin says 3/8 and 37.5% are the same thing. Ooh, I don't know. What does your gut say, yes or no? You're not just going to go with your gut, though, are you? You're going to show your work. You're going to prove it. I am going to prove it. I'm going to take the 3/8 and I'm going to change it to a decimal, and then I'll just scoop it over to a percent to see if it really is 37.5. So I'm going to remember with fraction hating troll, you tip it over. And with eights, I talked about this with some of you. With eights, I always know there's going to be 3 zeros, but then there will not. It always ends after the third 0. So that's 24. That's 7 for 56. That's 5. And there's no remainder. Okay, I told you. So 3/8 is 375 thousandths. If I were to change that now to a percent, decimal to a percent, I'm going to Dr. Pepper the decimal over, and I get 37.5%. So those two are the exact same thing. These guys are crushing it. They know exactly what is equivalent. All right, then we have Mrs. Madsen. She says 140% and 1 3/5 are the same. Is she correct? Ooh, what do I want to do this time? I've got 140%. I have 1 3/5. Well, I know this is, if I were to change that to a decimal, it'd be 1.4. What could I do? Could I biglify this? I could. That'd give me, so 1 60/100ths, which would be 100. Oh, look at that, 160%. It is not the same as 140%, is it? I could have also seen that 6/10 is 6/10, right? 60/100ths can simplify to 6/10, and 6/10 is that as a decimal. So they are, everyone got it right except for Mrs. Madsen. No, you are not correct. Those are not the same thing. In a basket, there are 7 Snickers, 15 Hershey's, 13 Skittles, and 5 Twix. Select the portion of the candy bars that are Hershey's. I just want the Hershey's. Well, I know there's 15 Hershey's. I need to get my total. Remember, the part goes on top, the whole goes on bottom. So the whole amount would be Snickers, Hershey's, Skittles, and Twix. Add those up. That's 10. That's another 10. So I've got 20, 40. So I've got 15 40ths here. Are any of these 15 40ths? No. Okay, well, no worries, because I know I can simplify. That would give me 3/8. Hey, look at that. Boom. 3/8. Now I'm not going to stop there because it says mark all that apply. So if I'm at 3/8 right here, then my guess is there's also going to be one of these percents is also going to be marked. So I just need to figure out what that is. And I'm going to do that by fractionating, trolling it. Which, did I just do this problem? Oh, get out of the way. You totally did. Because this was 3. This was 7. And this was 40. And then if I scoop that twice, I get 37.5%. So B and D are correct there. During lunch, 3/5 of the students had school lunch. 4/10 of the students had home lunch. Bo said more students had school lunch than home lunch. Is he correct? So again, we have a decimal in one place and a fraction. We've got to figure out if they are the same. Well, I know that 4/10 is 4/10, which can simplify to 2/5. So there's the first way I know that they are not the same. I could take 3/5 and fractionating troll it to 0.6. There's my second way that I know they're not the same. The last way I'm going to prove that they are not the same is I'm going to change this to a decimal, so that's 40%. And I'm going to take 3/5 and biglify that to 100 by timesing by 20. And I get 60 hundredths, which is 60%. So Bo is not correct. Sorry, buddy. The 60% kids that had school lunch is more than the 40% that had home lunch. Maybe next time. I believe that's all. Yep. All right. That is the Chapter 5A review. Once you have that done, then go on to the paper practice review will be awesome as well. And then you'll be ready for the test. So excited for you. See you next time. Good luck to you.